One of the issues that we've seen in budgets, federal budgets, going back decades really to the Costello days, the rivers of gold from the minerals and resources sector, is the estimates that Treasury have made around commodities have been way out and often to the benefit of the bottom line in the budget.
Eventually. So, first of all, the bottom line looks worse, and then the Treasurer is able to say, look what a great job I've done. So under Josh, I'll give you a readout of this. So under Josh Frydenberg, there were predictions of a spot price for iron ore of US $55 a tonne, and we saw it hit $230. Well, this is the prediction in the Frydenberg budget delivered in March. It said key commodity prices are assumed to decline from current elevated levels by the end of the September quarter 2022. The iron ore spot price from US 134 to 55. The metallurgical coal spot price from US $512 to 130. The thermal coal spot price from US 320 to US 60, predicting big falls, aren't they? And oil prices from $114 a barrel to US $100 a barrel. Well, let's look at the current prices. Iron ore price, that's $94 a tonne, not $55. Thermal coal, that's $387, not $114 or $100, and so on. So things are well ahead of budget forecasts. Couldn't that remain the case in the rest of the forward estimates? In other words, are the bigger deficits we have just flagged for later in the piece real? I guess the biggest dangers to them are interest rates continuing to go up to tackle inflation. You see how inflation's a pressure on the budget there because they cause interest rates to go up. And if the government does not undertake serious NDIS reform. And meanwhile, Industrial Relations Minister Tony Burke is making it clear that the government is hell-bent on IR reform this year to lift wages, that we will see the legislation on that reform on several measures next week. We know that two large parts of this are amendments to the Better Off Overall test that business wants, but also an ability for multi-employer bargaining, which the unions want. And it's my understanding that will be in the legislation next week. But will a push on wages just keep that inflation dragon going? The government claims not. They are saying that with the cost of living such a big issue at the moment, addressing wages is a matter of urgency. They also argue that the Governor of the Reserve Bank, Philip Lowe, says over time wages should increase 3.5% a year and that wage growth at the moment only has a 2 in front of it, Kieran. But the next year on that front, be fascinating to watch.